Welcome back, and now we are going to visit together one of the most beautiful palaces we have in Cairo, which is the palace of Prince Muhammad Ali, or it can be considered as also El Manyel Museum, where you can find there plenty of artifacts, plenty of paintings, tableaus, and the architectural touch also of the Moroccan and Andalusian engineers who participated in building this place. They made it such a magnificent palace. Shed more light on the palace or the museum. We are very much delighted to have with us via phone Mr. Yehya Abdul Qader, our tourism counselor. Thank you very much for being with us, sir.
Thank you. How are you?
Before going into the details, sir, unfortunately, there are mix between Muhammad Ali Pasha and Prince Muhammad Ali. Many people thought that this palace belongs to Muhammad Ali Pasha, but no, the case is different, and we should know who is Prince Muhammad Ali Tawfiq.
Well, really, the Muhammad Ali Pasha is the founder of the dynasty, and he is a mix because he built, his magnificent palace in Shobra, overlooking the east bank of the Nile. But Prince Muhammad Ali Tawfiq is a descendant of the great Muhammad Ali, the founder of the dynasty, and he resided and he developed such magnificent palace in El Manyel, and he was a custodian of the Egyptian, monarchy, like when King Fuad, passed away in 1936. So he was custodian until, King Farouk, he came to the age of 16 years old, and he became, a ruler of Egypt until 1952.
Sir, regarding the place or regarding the location, when it comes to El Manyel Island in Cairo, it's one of the most beautiful islands we have on our Nile River. Tell us more about the location, and if you have any idea about why Prince Muhammad Ali himself had chosen this location for his palace.
Well, really, El Manyel and Exeter Road, was gardens and recreational areas, in ancient times in Mamluk era. So that's why really we had two factions of Mamluks, Mamalik al-Bahariya, which resided in El Manyel, and the Durgaya, which resided in downtown Cairo near Saladin Fort. And this location where they developed this palace, for 300 years, it was a great garden, open and, managed and directed by the Mamluks. So he chose this location to develop and build his magnificent palace because, of his position in the royal families by the time. And he was a great connoisseur of, Islamic civilization, architecture, and culture. That's why he developed his palace to represent three types, of architecture and styles, like the Moorish one, from Morocco, Andalusia.
This was my coming question, sir, regarding the different nationalities we have here when it comes to those behind the creation of such a piece of art. Why Moroccan, Andalusian, and maybe other nationalities participated or had a share in creating or in building this palace?
Well, as I said, he was a connoisseur, and a great lover of the Islamic civilization and culture. That's why by the time and according to his vision, he visioned, Andalusia and Moroccan to be one style, and that's represented in the clock tower he established near the entrance of the palace. And then the Mamluk, area that they inherited, that's why you find this in the mosque that he developed next to the clock tower. And then he was very fond of the Persian, civilization and architecture as well. That's why the main buildings of the palace are, styled after this. And of course, there's some influence of the Turkish architecture and
Yeah.
style and design as well.
You know, sir, I've asked this question because Khedive Ismail, for example, was in love with the European or French style of buildings, and he wanted to have Cairo as even part of Europe in when it comes to architecture, when it comes to the historic buildings, when it comes to palaces, stuff like that. Was Prince Muhammad Ali in love with the other side of the coin, or moving to this Islamic art or the other schools of architecture?
Well, and even, I mean, I visited the palace many times, and you can witness, like his tendency to emphasize, like the collection of Islamic, architecture and style. You find this in the calligraphy, you find this in the architecture, you find this in the furniture, you find this in the interior and decoration, and the style and design, everything, like surrounding the fountains, like that very much, looks like the Alhambra Palace, like Andalusia.
Mm-hmm.
So he was trying to collect, like in this palace, the 3 or 4, top, like designs in the Islamic world, from Persia, from Turkey, from a Mamluk period, which belongs to Egypt, and from Spain and Andalusia and Morocco as well.
And all the belongings, all the paintings, all the artifacts there are intact and in a very great, let me say, status. So I think it can be one of the tourism sites which can attract a large number of visitors, by the way, whether Egyptians, Arab, or foreigners. If you want to elaborate on that.
It is really. This is like very sophisticated, like paintings and collections. Like the furniture, the throne hall, like that he designed. Like because the Sultan of Turkey by the time he was going to visit Egypt, and he stayed in his palace. So that's why this hall, like, and the room, like, was designed for him, as well as the great gardens of the palace. It covers over 20 acres of land, and this is one of the top gardens worldwide because he selected and he brought rare plantations from all over the world to be in that place. He has a hunting museum as well, so really it's a great location for concerts, for festivals, for presentations, for fashion shows, and I've been there many times.
In fact, we do have a number of wonderful places, wonderful sites, wonderful palaces, and it's time to put them in the proper position on our tourism map. Mr. Yehya Abdul, our tourism counselor, thank you very much for your input, sir, and have a very good day. Well, by this we come to the end of our episode. Stay tuned on Live TV International always for more updates. Tomorrow is another episode and another crew. Many thanks for watching. This was Nermeen Abdurrahman.